Welcome back to the Scores Trade Deadline coverage, guys. It's the end of our time here pretty much. We've got about 5 or 6 minutes left, and we do this every trade deadline day, and we're not going to stop this year. Winners, losers, and maybe a surprise. So let's start with the winners. Jesse, who's on your list?
I think I'm giving the winner nod to Columbus. We look at a franchise that really needs to make the playoffs. They've only made it once in their entire history. They needed to take a shot, and Jarmo Kekalainen has gone for it. They've taken the shot, gone with Marian Gaborik, and no one knows if it's going to work out, but hey, he certainly put his chips on the table.
I think the winner for me is the Buffalo Sabres. They don't have to give up Ryan Miller or Thomas Vanek or Tyler Myers, guys that were rumored to be going, and they end up with a first, 4 second-round picks, a third-round pick. At least it's something to build on going forward in what has been an awful season for the Sabres.
I've got two winners. You can take your pick, Tampa Bay and Ottawa, because they swapped players in the same deal. And I look at this deal, Ben Bishop going to Tampa Bay and Corey Conacher going to Ottawa. It just seems to address both teams' needs. And really, the need to get rid of Ben Bishop, I don't want to say they wanted to get rid of him, but it was a situation where his value was really high, and they got what they needed. A guy that's going to help this team in the future. Corey Conacher's having a great year. He's second in rookie scoring in the NHL, and I just think this deal really works out for both teams. So I think Yzerman and Brian Murray did a great job with this one, and I look at them both as winners here. Like, I know it sounds very participation medal, but both teams are winners regardless.
They should be commended. Throw James Reimer in the winner, too, because the Leafs don't acquire a goalie, and I think Reimer, as long as he stays healthy, has the chance to be the #1 guy in the playoffs.
That sigh of relief you heard at 3 o'clock was James Reimer. All right, guys, losers, GMs, teams, anyone, who is under your losers category right now?
I think for me, guys, it's the Calgary Flames. I mean, the lead up to the trade deadline and the trade deadline was just so Calgary Flames, wasn't it? They started to do something, they dipped their toe in the water, but they didn't actually jump in and go for it. So we know Calgary needs a rebuild, a reboot, whatever word you want to apply to it, retool. They go halfway. They get rid of Iginla. They get rid of Bouwmeester. But they're sitting there with Camilleri, Hoodler, Tanguay, Glenncross, Weidman, Giordano, all these guys. And I know they have multiple years left on their deals, and they're tough guys to move. But you look at Buffalo. They get returned. And then you talk about Jay Feaster mentioning guys like Curtis Glenncross as the key to the future. Curtis Glenncross is 30 years old. How much more value are you going to get out of him than you would get right now? And Calgary just didn't do anything.
You think Jay Feaster wishes he had a time machine and he could go back a year and make all those deals and actually get something in return?
I don't know if he still does it. Stubborn. You're loser, Todd.
Probably the Winnipeg Jets. They're holding off both Washington and Carolina by a thread for first place in that very difficult division.
Difficult to watch?
They needed a top 6 forward, and specifically someone to play with Olli Jokinen and Evander Kane, and they struck out in trying to get some scoring power, because that is the one thing they need right now.
My loser has to be the Philadelphia Flyers, and specifically Paul Holmgren. It's not very often that a trade actually makes you laugh. And this trade made me laugh. Steve Mason to the Philadelphia Flyers for Michael Leighton in the 3rd-round pick. We've heard about Philadelphia's problems in net since I was a child. Honest to God, since Ron Hextall was there, they've just gone through a revolving door of horrible goaltenders, and they just keep believing they can bring in these mediocre guys, and that is what's going to happen, that they're going to succeed. And then they overpay for Ilya Bryzgalov, who's probably going to be bought out at the end of the year, and Paul Holmgren just continues to keep getting this job and continues to make these moves, and it's actually laughable. I actually feel like they want us to make fun of them at times.
Well, the best part is he had his franchise goaltender, and he traded him to Columbus.
Yes.
Which was in Sergei Bobrovsky. So you had the franchise goalie in your hands, you let him slip, he pushes Mason out of a job, and then you trade for Mason.
Okay, guys, you're surprised, be it from a team, a GM, the thing you're most surprised about today, and we're a little short on time, so go ahead.
To go back to Columbus, I was really surprised about Gaborik. I thought that $7.5 million cap, it was going to be a big deterrent. I didn't think, we were talking about guys like Vanek and Gaborik as being gambles. I didn't think anyone was going to have the guts and trade for Marian Gaborik.
I'm surprised that Martin Erat got the 11th pick in the draft last year. And I see where Washington's coming from. If Mike Ribeiro does leave, I guess it's insurance. Erat under contract for, 2 more years? But still, we're talking about Forsberg being a real stud. And Martin Erat is what you get for him?
I'm going to actually cheat a little bit and say this isn't just a surprise from trade deadline. It's a surprise just in trade talk in general. I'm shocked Roberto Luongo, given everything that happened right since they said the lockout is over to now, is still a Vancouver Canuck. I'm shocked. I can't believe it. I thought he'd be traded before the year. I thought he'd be traded 10 games into the year. I thought he'd be traded by the deadline for sure, and I'm shocked that Mike Gillis just could not come off his price, and it's just far too high. That's it for us at the desk. We've been here, trades, analysis, pressers. It's been a lot of fun. Cam and Jackie are going to come on, take us home the last half hour, so don't go anywhere. Trade deadline coverage continues right here on The Score.
This program on The Score brought to you by Lowe's. From grilling to gardening, patio furniture to power equipment, get into the spring of things today with Lowe's.
Spring.